So, welcome everyone to the first episode of the Play the Surreal Dota podcast. I am one of the hosts. My name is Synergy. With me tonight is Mr. Liberty. Hello, welcome.
Hello.
And also Mr. Tiger. Hello, how are you doing?
Hello. Hello.
Alright, how are you guys doing this evening in general? I know we've talked a little bit before, but overall.
I'm doing
Um,
very well.
yeah, pretty good. Pretty good. Not too bad.
Nice. I like to hear that. Alright, so the idea of this podcast in general is for us to talk about Dota stuff and other stuff that's going on around in the esport world, if there would be anything interesting, but mainly it's gonna be the Dota stuff, of course. And I think we can go into our first segment, which would be the Reddit news. So I hope you guys have all the Reddit
Wait.
news.
What about our introductions?
Oh, introduction?
I'm sure all these people out in Radio Land want to get to know us.
Oh, that's true. All right. So who wants to start? Who wants to be the?
I mean, yeah, I actually, I want to know who is Mr. Synergy?
Yeah, I think
Who
you should
is the
start, Mr.
host?
Synergy.
Oh
The
my
man
God.
of the hour.
The man of the hour, exactly.
I'm only one of the three hosts, but okay. Well. I'm Synergy. I'm not gonna share my real name because that's cringe. I am 25 years old, if I remember.
Why do you hesitate about that?
Because I actually did remember what's my age like a couple of months ago. To be fair, it is it is a bit weird, but that's exactly what happened. Like just to go off the topic a little bit, like I was just sitting in the chair, right? I was eating, and then I was like suddenly, dude, how old I actually am. Then I started counting, and I was like, dude, I'm 23. There's no way, I was like, okay, so I was born in 1996, right? So like going, and like, dude, I'm fucking 25. Holy shit! And it took me literally like 10 minutes to realize it. Like, yeah, like I forgot. You can forgot, at least I
I
think
mean,
so.
apparently you can, but it also
Apparently you
says a
can,
lot
yeah.
about you, right?
I mean, that's true. Yeah, it says a lot about me because I don't think about the dumb stuff, Like I like to make myself younger than I am,
You're too
Okay.
focused on the next Dota draft or the next strategy to
Exactly,
worry about your
exactly,
age. I respect
exactly,
that.
exactly. Great minds think alike, So yeah. So back to the introduction. Yeah, so I'm 25 years old from Czech Republic. Play Dota, as I think everybody is. That are at
Everybody
least
is from Czech Republic?
no, that play Dota at least. At
Oh,
least
okay.
those that are like listening to this podcast. Yeah, and I'm a web designer. Uh, that's like the second job that I have. The main job is Dota, so.
It takes most of your time, probably.
It actually does, yes. Yes, it actually does.
All right, solid introduction, man.
Yeah, very solid, very solid. Okay, who's the next, please? Don't leave me hanging.
I mean,
Go
now
ahead.
I'll go next. People know me as Tiger. I'm 26 from Holland, the Netherlands, as people might say. I'm playing Dota for how long? 7, 8 years, maybe. Those are the kind of things I can actually forget. I think 2015, playing a lot of Team Dota, draft, like draft wise, captain wise. I'm usually up there. Played any role but 5, so anything but 5 I can talk about. 5, that's not really my play style, not my kind of style. Very aggressive, greedy kind of Dota is my style of Dota. And I'm an interior architect. That's about it,
Okay.
actually.
I guess that leaves me. So yeah, my name is Liberty, and I think I'm 36, so I'm the old man of the crew here. And I have been playing. I think I played Dota for the first time sometime in like 2006, for like the mod. But I just observed a game and kind of jumped on for a sec. I didn't actually really start to play until Dota 2 came out. But I remember I played Han before, that. So when Dota 2 came out, I was kind of right into it. So that would have been, I think, my first game on Steam is 2012. But even though I've played longer than these guys, I am the pleb of the crew, which I think is really funny. I don't really know why they hang out or talk to me because they're all much higher rank and I have bad ideas all the time, but it's pretty funny. And yeah, so I'm Canadian originally, but I'm living in Ireland right now. And I am a technical consultant, so I basically don't do anything except for tell people what to do and to try to solve their problems.
Sounds like a dream job.
Yeah, exactly. I was about to say that. Yeah.
It's like, when you have a project and you like come up with the theory and the idea behind everything, and then you say, and then normally you have to go and do that, right? And I'm just like, okay, go and do it.
Sounds pretty good to me.
Yeah, it's parts of it can be good. It's definitely fun. But yeah, that's probably it from myself.
Okay, so I think we can go to the first topic, which are the Reddit posts, the interesting Reddit posts, and the first one that was selected is a Reddit post about PVE content in Dota. The title of the Reddit post is I wish Dota had a PvE campaign mode that constantly gets updated, like Axe, Labyrinth, Shieldbreaker, etc. The other PvE modes, what I remember, were Dark Moon, if I'm correct, right? And then the New Moon or New Blood Moon, which was
With the
sort
giant
of...
invoker, right?
That was Dark Moon. I'm talking
Oh, good.
about 2015, I think. It was the PVE the new Blood Moon or Blood Bloom or something like that it was called, and it was basically a primal beast, and that the same one was reintroduced in 2018, if I'm
Wasn't that with
correct.
the Chinese New Year where you had the
Yeah,
beast
yeah,
and you need to level
yes.
it? That wasn't a PVE, right? That was PvP. But then
Oh
everyone
yeah, that's
got
right.
like the beast.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. That's right. It was also some like new additional like content to play within the game besides the usual play modes that are available.
I mean,
So what do
I
you guys think about in general like PvE content for Dota?
I mean, isn't like I get why people want to play it, right? You want to chill, hang back, relax with your friends, but isn't that like Dota's not about that, right? Dota is about, for me at least, it's about playing against other people, theory crafting. Yeah, sure, you can do that with the PvE as well, but it's less dimensional, I'd say. Like in PvP, you're playing with 10 actual players, like 10 human beings. In PvE, like the last thing was with the I don't even remember. Wait, you only can play a few heroes, so you only play a tiny part of the game, and you're playing against bots really that do the same thing every time, so it gets figured out as well, right? Like that's why it's very good in my opinion that it gets hyped for a short period of time that it's out there. But like as soon as it gets figured out, like you can never ever figure people out, especially with regular patches, right? But like figuring out bots, like at some point it gets done, and then it's a trick. It's about execution,
Yeah,
at least in
I,
my opinion.
I think like I would agree for the most part that the those events, and they have the annual events as well as the one-off events like Frostivus and whatever New Bloom is the spring one, etc., and the Halloween one. But I think anyone that's played those has played them, and you get sick of them after a while, and they're fun. It's a great break from the game when you're kind of lost a few ranked games in a row or whatever it is. But here's another kind of thing to think about. Like right now, one of the things that all Dota players ask for a ton is like this investment from Valve, more patches, more content, more arcana, all this kind of stuff, right? And so if we have people that are maintaining a kind of PvE balance and content creation, that I think that's going to take away from that side of it, the PvP balancing and the things that people are actually asking for. I also think that there's just games out there that do PVE content better, and like not to be rude, but if you want to play PVE, like fuck off and go play a PVE game, go play World of Warcraft in the nicest possible way,
I mean, yeah.
like stay in your lane. Dota's like exactly like Tiger. You said Dota is a PvP at its core. Like the best moments of Dota are the international main stage, like crazy events. When you play on a team yourself, is like drafting and like a comeback where you work together or whatever. Like that's the best part of Dota, and if you take that away, then I just don't think the game is what it
Yeah,
is.
and I agree with that as well. That if you were to make a decision or make a choice in what to invest in, I'd rather have Valve invest in the actual online experience of Dota than the PVE.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
yeah,
Right,
I
sorry.
don't get excited by like if there's a new PVE event or a new patch. I always like 10 out of 10 times I'll pick a new patch over a PVE event, right, or PVE something.
Yeah, and one last thing, like just as like I mentioned I was the older person or whatever, is like a time thing. So one of the reasons I love Dota is because I can come in and depending on the game mode that I decide to play, I can play anywhere from 10 minutes in like an overthrow or something like this or a custom game to obviously games could go longer, but let's say an hour. Kind of like if I have an hour, I know I can get a ranked game in usually and then I'm done. Like there's no leveling up, there's no grinding in between. Like I just play it and I'm done. And everything I start fresh. Everyone starts at the exact same point. And there's something amazing to be said for that, to not have to level and put hours and hours to be at a competitive level.
But yeah, that was with the latest PVE thingy as well, right? Like the more you actually play it, the more heroes you get, the more of an advantage you have. I mean, yeah, sure, there's something to be said about that because you get rewarded for playing, but like starting from scratch every game again also kind of has a charm to it, in my
I
opinion.
agree. What do you think, Synergy? We've kind of been blabbering on.
No, it's actually good to hear your opinions first for a change, you know.
For the host.
Yeah, yeah. But I do have a little bit of a different opinion, but not so much. Like I agree with everything what you've said that like Dota is a PvP game mainly. It's a MOBA game, obviously. So the main source of development creation should always go to that part of the game for sure. But like having the PVE content within Dota, like stable one, would be maybe a bit too distracting because if you or like lately, or like not lately, but like 2017 or 18, if you remember that there was the big boom on the TI. I don't know if it was TI 7 or TI 8. I think it was TI 7, where they introduced the artifact, the Dota 2 card game. I'm pretty sure
Yeah.
you knew about it, right?
So that was like the tower defense
That
kind
was
of thing,
I
right?
know that was in Vancouver, so it was whatever international was in Vancouver because I had some friends go. Shout out to Swing Dick. And they got free access to that when they went to that event.
Yeah, yes, they did. All of the people that were in the TI, they. I'm not sure if on the TI or if on that day that was announced. Not sure.
Just TI 8.
TI 8 then. Yeah. So I think that like the content that was like or like that is being developed like that could be like part of the game. It's usually better to have it developed as a separate type of game. If people want to play it, they can download it. They can play it instead. You know,
When
not
you say separate kind of games, do you mean like an arcade game inside Dota or a standalone?
standalone, strictly standalone. Because then what brings me to the other part is that we actually do have something very similar that's being like wished within this post, except for the fact it's not being maintained by Valve, and that is straight up arcade games. Because we have tons of arcade games. There has been an issue which we are not gonna go over within the arcade games development and from the Valve side that the developers were getting banned for whichever reason for a bug specifically. But back to that, we have an arcade games in general, right? I myself, I really enjoy playing Together We Stand. It's beautiful, basically, wave type of game or
Tower
tower defense
defense.
rather. Yes. So I like that one. I occasionally, just play it, and it's very similar, very similar thing. You can just play it with a PVE with multiple other people. So arcade games in general. That's what brings me to what I wanted to talk about was Dota Chess, which actually still is an arcade game within Dota, but Dota itself made a game called Dota Underlords, which is a standalone, separate game, except that it's with the heroes. And the Dota chess also made like a newborn child, let's put it that way, from Dota, or like from Valve, it's the Dota to Underlords, and from Riot. And help me out. Do you know what the game is called? Is it called
Yes. Oh, what's this one
Team
called?
Tactics,
Team
right?
Team
Tactics, yeah.
Tactics? Yes.
Team Fight Tactics.
Team Fight Tactics. Yes.
Or Team Fight
So
Tactics.
so that is basically the same type of game, except it's with the heroes from the League of Legends. So yeah, that's kind of how I would close it, you know. So like, if we want PVE content, well, the PVE content is kind of there, except it's not being maintained by Valve. And if we want a stable content, like that's kind of like a PVE, I think it's better if the development in general would lead towards like a standalone game rather than an in-game feature. Let's put it
That
that
was
way.
an interesting, I guess, like kind of phase, let's call it, of gaming, is the auto battler. You know, the last
Yeah.
one that came out before that, like the genres were fairly static as far as like you had your fighter, you had your kind of online games or whatever, and then like Dota was kind of new as a MOBA that like was kind of new-ish as far as like genres are concerned. That didn't really exist too much before Dota, and then that stuck around, and then you had like your PUBG style, like kind of last person standing battle arena, and now you have like these auto battlers is kind of the new one. It's interesting to see the kind of
But
evolution of the different phases and which ones stick around and which ones don't.
but I said really new because like when Underlords came out, like got released or announced or whatever, like it was pretty hype. But honestly, like I completely forgot it existed. Like I've
No,
heard nothing about it on Twitch. You don't see much about it.
what
At
I
least
mean new
not
is
me.
like when they made that auto chess
Yeah. Okay.
inside
Yeah.
Dota, it was the first time that we'd seen a game like quite like that, or like at least at that level of popularity. I'd never personally seen an auto battler where you kind of set up your things and fought. The closest thing I could think of would be like Hearthstone, but that's kind of like card based play, and
Yeah,
you
that's
kind of
that's more
choose.
that's more card based. Yes, like I had an opportunity to play Dota chess. Not exactly at the time when it was released. I played a little bit after with a few of my friends, and it was okay, like a relaxation type of game. You know, like where you don't have to really think much. Obviously, like that game, it is not that complex, but there is still some level of complexity in it. You know, there are certain like fractions, and they give you obviously a certain type of bonuses that you can combine, and you get more and more stuff, and etc. Obviously, it's a little bit luck dependent as well, but like overall, it's a pretty decent game to chill out with, and I personally play Underlords till even now. Sometimes when I have like a couple few
Really?
minutes. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
When? Couple few minutes.
Yeah, we didn't work. we
Oh,
didn't.
okay, yeah, that explains it. That's
we,
usually that's like the only time you can actually play it, right?
yeah, yeah, we didn't working hours because the game is actually pretty fast, and being honest, I don't play that versus people. I literally just play it against bots, just for the sake of the fact that I can just pause it and do something else, for example at work or literally anything else, then go back to it and continue. So yeah, but in general I like it. You know, it's a decent type of game in a way that there are similarities to Dota, and of course it's basically a lot different. So it is an interesting type of game. You know, like
Now,
if you never play it, I'm not saying it's worth to checking out. Personally, I don't think so, but like some people might get, like some interest in it at least.
like how does this Reddit post have 911 upvote? Like like people are actually commenting that they want this. Are people that don't want this not there or not downvoting or just straight up not answering or
I don't know. I mean, it even has an award, so
okay.
yeah. Anyway, do
Just
you
think
have
There's
Yeah.
other games out there like that fit the need for this. Again,
Yeah.
I think that's.
Yeah.
I'm gonna like probably try to close this topic up with this, but like, there's how many games can you think of that have a campaign that's similar to this? Path of Exile, Torchlight. These kind of games are all very similar, and they're like almost the same as Eggs Labyrinth, in my opinion. Like within, obviously they're different, but they're go and play
Yeah,
those. That's
I
my
agree.
final verdict on this one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. I agree.
Downvote. I'm gonna do it right now.
For me, seriously, it would be downvote. I'm actually gonna do downvote. 910. We're at
910.
909.
I just saw it. 918,
908.
917.
Okay. Triple downvote.
I'm not
Verdict.
down.
Bang.
I'm not downvoting. I'm staying
And
neutral.
then who was the 900 from 909 to 908? Who was that? That wasn't you.
I did it. I
No.
did one. Maybe
Okay,
someone's
I'll
listening
vote
to
it
this
again.
podcast.
Okay, let's go next because
So
you know.
if you guys hear this, please go search. I wish Dota had a PVE campaign mode and downvote that post.
Then tomorrow we're at 905.
all the
Thanks,
links.
Mom.
All right, then I have another one for you. Like pro tip that no guide on YouTube will ever tell you about Dota 2 ranked. Any ideas of what that might be? Like I
Well,
experienced it this weekend.
Don't play support.
I mean, that's one thing. If you want to gain MMR, probably playing support is the hardest role to do that on. But also, don't play on the weekends. Like, as if the games weren't decided by flipping a coin already. Weekend is way the worst. It comes down to whichever team has less drunk/high players. The difference between Monday 8 a.m. Dota and Saturday 8 p.m. Dota is insane. Actually, it's like playing a completely different game. I know most people can't play in the mornings, but even weekday nights games are way better and way more consistent than weekend games. You're welcome.
okay. I'm gonna go first on this, and I'm gonna downvote this as well because the reason is, and I understand where this person's coming from. I get it. We've all been there, and like you guys know that we experienced this ourselves, where we had a couple of tough games, and I said I was never playing Dota again, and then I was playing the next day, of course. But for all the drunks and high players, yes, they are out there, and yes, there's people that don't take it seriously, the casual or whatever. But they're on both teams. You have just as much chance of getting them on your team as them being on the other team and being able to beat them up. That's just the way I look at it. So if you want to talk about,
Isn't Dota usually about you can't do anything wrong? It's always the other guy's fault. That's why it's probably a topic, right?
yeah,
Because
well, I mean, if you take that logic, then 100% right.
yeah, I mean that's logic. That's how Dota works. Like, seriously, like people never seek the problem by themselves. It's always usually the other guy. The other guy makes mistakes, but everybody makes mistakes. It's like not more than normal, right? Like everybody does that. And then yeah, maybe on the weekends people might be hungover or high or whatever. I'm usually that as well. Not high, but I might be hungover from time to time. But then, like, I also make mistakes, but it's very easy to blame the other guys. But I also make mistakes. Yes, I won't deny that. And I like, yeah, on weekdays I'm never that. Like, I'm never hungover, so I can relate to it in some way. But yeah, it's exactly as you say. Like everybody will play. You'll play the next day. For me,
Yeah.
I don't know. It's kind of eh. Yeah, you have a point, but also not really.
Well, again, like I just think that like those people are, if whether they're out there or not, you have just as much of a chance of them being on your team as not on your team. So the variance should balance out over time. But psychologically, we always remember the bad beats. Like in poker, you remember when you were a shoe in to win the hand. 100% you're going to win the hand, or 99.9, I guess. And then you have like this last card come through. You're going to remember that the whole time, but you're not going to remember when the opposite happens. You're not going to remember the ones where you made the wrong play and you still won, or the ones where you're behind. If they have some toxic guy on the team, you don't remember those wins. They just wins.
Yeah, yeah. Usually, like the bad times stick with you more than the good times, right? Like if you play an amazing game, you'll remember it. But if you play like an average game, but you still win. Yeah,
Exactly.
but it's also like the other day when we were playing, like me and Synergy, we were clapping the lane, right? Like we actually absolutely demolished them, like +4 with 5 or 6 or 7 minute Midas, and then we still got clapped by the enemy team because, well, some people might say Sunday Dota apparently, but yeah, there are more things at fault than just clapping the lane and then losing the game. Of course, I remember that game because I was highest net worth on +4 Kato. Kick.
I wouldn't call it like that specific game. I wouldn't call it Sunday Dota. I would call it Manta Jack in 40 minutes. So.
I mean, yeah, he's probably one of those people this guy's talking about, right? Like hungover or high.
Yeah. I would continue if I may. From my point of view, there is some some truth to it. I agree that like these monkeys are on both sides of the board. However, for me, it kind of feels like that I kind of have the higher chance to get the gorilla rather than the monkey, you know, on the weekend. But overall, yeah, like you guys are correct. Like instead of like crying your heart out on the Reddit, getting 874 upvotes and then helpful award, it would be probably better, you know, to have a look at your own replays, like have a look at your own game, and also what he's not like mentioning, even though it's a tip, it's still or like something that works for me at least really well is just mute everything in options. That's literally, you know, the best thing that you can do. I feel like especially if you get easily tilted or something like that, just, you know, like you like mute everything and then play your own game, focus on your own game.
That's actually a
my
very
opinion.
valid tip because, like, back in the day when I was grinding to like the higher ranks, divine stuff like that, I actually did that, and they gave me, I don't know, 1.5k MMR. Just being able to play your own game, focus on your own stuff. Yeah, communicating with the team can be very helpful, but also if like that tilts you, it's so easy to just shot everything, or at least the enemy team or something like that, right? Like not like especially with voice lines and stuff like that, them not being able to tilt you saves so much. That same goes for like when you have bad teammates or you're playing Sunday Dota. Apparently, just like play your own game, try to win that way, I guess, or at least have fun that way, so you can play your own game.
Yeah. Think
So,
about
I think with these Reddit posts, I'd like to introduce something since it's our first episode, and I don't know what you guys think, but I think we should vote on them, upvote or downvote, if we agree or disagree with them.
upward or downward. All right.
Yeah.
I
So for
mean,
me,
okay,
I'm a
yeah,
downvote
sure.
on this one.
For
Famous.
me,
Yeah,
even though there's some kind of truth to it, I'll also downvote this. I will downvote it from
famous.
880 to 897. No, that's wrong. From 879 to 878.
I had 74 to 73 just now.
So
Uh,
Oh,
Synergy, what's your verdict on it?
my verdict is these are the famous words before friendship splitting apart. But yeah, like I'm gonna downvote as well.
Okay.
Just leave it at that.
Hard decisions. I know we can
Yeah.
agree with parts of them, but overall, downvote.
you can
I don't know.
also choose to not vote, right? Like you also don't
No,
give them an okay, no.
you have to vote.
You
Yeah,
have to vote. Like that's the verdict of Mr. Liberty. You have no
Yeah,
choice. You have to vote either up or down. No in
yeah. Like,
between.
no
you
in
got to be one
between.
way or the other. Like
Yeah.
you know, if you're 50-50, then make a decision.
Yeah, exactly. We don't like that. We want hard decisions right here, right now.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
It's
Polarizing opinions.
Polarizing opinion.
that's exactly the decision that every single anti-mage player is making after Battle Fury Manta. Do I go Skadi or no? Everybody
No,
will
that's
upvote
the
to Skadi.
decision is do I go Skadi or do I go Skadi? That's that,
What
I
about
mean,
what about
like
Asher?
yeah, why seriously? All right, that's the next topic. No fucking Reddit anymore. Like next topic, AM players are they fucking like why would you go Skadi after Manta? Like what's the basic concept of anti-mage? Like seriously, like
Mana
what's the
burn,
basic
ult.
Sorry, Mr. Synergy, go ahead.
Jump on someone, mana burn, ult.
Okay, and how do you do that?
Well, you
Manta.
blink,
Manta,
Manta.
yeah, well that's step one. But how do you get to the Manta? Okay, Battle Fury. Why Battle Fury?
That's the question I've been asking myself for past 3 years because I am the Maelstrom or slash
Okay,
Mjolnir
then we
builder.
don't. We're not gonna have this conversation with you. I'll admit, like a couple of years ago, I was a filthy AM spammer, and I'll always say go battle. If you're why mana regen, health regen, helps you in the lane, good damage against creeps. You can clear creep wave, split push. With blink, you clear creep camps insanely fast. Like Battle Fury all the way. Maelstrom, Echo Saber, that's garbage. Leave that behind. But like with Menta, yes, you burn mana because your Earl's burn the mana as well, especially when you are playing against like Invoker or Storm or whatever, like Walking Time Bomb there is as an int hero that also likes to buy in items, right? You blink on him, you Menta, or you Abyssal Menta Abyssal, probably Abyssal Menta, but then you blow him up, take one out of the fight, you can fight 4-on-5, right? 5-on-4. That's the concept of the heroes. How, in any way, does Skadi help you do that? Yeah, Skadi as a fifth or fourth item, fourth maybe. Sure, go for it. It's a luxury item, but like those three items are core all the way through on Anti-Mage. I don't think there's any, unless you're playing against like Necro or Alk or
So
heavy regen heroes.
So we're saying for sure you're building treads and Battle Fury. Everyone agrees on that. Like there's like probably 1 out of 100 games where you're probably not going Battle Fury because you just lose if you do. But like it's very rare. We agree on that, right? So treads Manta, and then
Yeah.
now the question is, do we go Skadi the next item, or what's the alternative option, like Basher into like Abyssal? Is that what you're
Basher.
advocating?
No, they
Most of
like
the times.
the build is you go Basher Abyssal, then the alternative could be Skadi, not the other way around.
Right, but you could go potentially go Skadi after that.
Yeah, after that, Scotty's
You
fine,
wanted
right?
to,
It gives you
if you needed to stop the
control.
regen or something like this.
Yeah, it gives you control because you're slow. Gives really good stats on Anti-Mage because you usually lack that.
But
Deny
what about if you need a
regen.
Lincoln's?
I mean, you have the shield, right? Like
Yeah.
the active. The
I don't know what's it called. I can't remember from my head, but it's an active. It's basically Lotus Orb slash Lincoln in one go.
Counterspell. But
counter.
you'd see like an anti-mage at a high level buying a Lincoln's against a Doom sometimes.
I mean,
Maybe,
not
right?
really because Doom actually has to get up close animation. You can do that with counter spell.
Plus you have Manta as well.
Yeah.
And you have Manta, but that's also one reason why you always buy Manta because when people go early Orchid, especially right now with the nice build up, and you can do it on a lot of heroes, you need Manta so you can protect yourself, like Manta blink out in case necessary, right? Like that's also why Manta is absolutely core. But the counter spell helps you with that. Like when Lion blinks in, right? Like the Hex might be insta, but the stun's not. Doom blinking in, Doom is not instant. Even though you get Centaur, it's not instant stun. In Doom follow up, you also have the counter spell. So Lincoln's arguably fifth, sixth item, but I also prefer you to go
Super
like
situational.
yeah, it's super situational. But usually you don't. Why not? Because you need damage, or you want another item that gives you more than the Lincolns, right? Since you have counterspell.
And who plays anti-mage anyways?
I mean, I did. I don't anymore. I think that the hero is garbage. To be honest, I think honestly, I think they just to protect people. I think they never should have changed the mana burn into like matching with the Skadi or with the Deso because the build up doesn't go with the hero. Yes, Skadi is a good item as a luxury item or as a stat item, but like synergy wise on the hero, just to protect like pros have the ability or high rated players have the ability to understand the hero, right? But some people might not, or they just gotta blindly follow a build. Yeah, pros know when to buy Scotty or when to buy Basher or highly rated players. But when you don't know when or why to buy a certain item, then don't blindly follow a guide. It's always items are always situational, in my opinion. And same goes with the Scotty on Anti-Mage. Like you don't straight up go Scotty because the guide tells you to. That loses you games.
Okay, and to throw a spanner in the works, you don't see too often the shard on anti-mage, but with all like the damage manipulation that you have, where it stops. Is it only spell damage to anti-mage or is it to everyone? And it's an aura. That seems pretty good as well. Like stopping all spell damage by anywhere between 10 and 30% for 1,400 gold. But I guess it goes back to the argument you want damage. Why spend that money on something else?
mean, the
I was just
thing
gonna talk about eggs and shard.
the thing is that most of the anti-mage builds that I've seen lately includes threats into Battle Fury, sometimes naked Battle Fury into threats, into Manta, into Skadi, and then Aghanim Scepter for some reason. So yeah, no damage, no control, just some stats. And then Mr. Anti-Mage blinks in and is really vocal in the voice chat about how he's dying to 5 people. So yeah. Alright, anybody any other comments to the anti-mage third item Skadi or second item Skadi topic?
Downvote.
Yeah, downvote.
Yeah,
Downvote.
just,
Kids, don't
Honestly,
listen to fucking Mr. Synergy. Don't go Skadi on Anti-Mage's third item.
I didn't
I'm
say
probably
don't
the
go
worst.
anti-mage. Go on, go on.
I say I'm probably the worst person to have an opinion. Like, I personally find playing carry very boring because you just farm for X amount of minutes, and then I usually just show up to a fight and die, and then the game's over. So
It's the exact description of anti-mage going Skadi. I don't know why, but
Yeah, that's how it works. You farm for 30 minutes, then you finally are like, oh, yeah, I got a Skadi, and bam, you're dead.
I don't build Skadi, I build Maelstrom into Manta, so.
Alright, that's why
yeah.
your opinion didn't count on this topic, right?
Exactly. So.
what's your win rate on Anti-Mage?
Mine?
Actually not bad. But mine not bad. I have around 60%.
Mine is our 80%. 71.08.
Well, maybe you guys could play that hero when we play together, so I can get some MMR.
Oh, I don't know about that, but I would rather play by Chuck.
I mean, last game played as Anti-Mage was in 2021, so that means enough for you,
Yeah,
right?
that's probably very similar for me as well. But I'm pretty sure Tiger has more games on Anti-Mage than I do.
I have 190 on Dota buff.
Yeah, well, I have around 30, max 40 games, so.
And that's also why you don't play it a lot, right? Like, why your win rate is garbage.
Yeah. 60% is garbage. Yeah. Well, yeah, like you can, yeah. It's like the least I can accept is 70%. Like anything below is garbage. All right. So moving on to the third Reddit post. This one's gonna be pretty quick. It's just like a meme picture of Faceless Void Arcana leaked.
Downvote. Attention seeker, not interested. Get out.
Don't care about Arcana
Don't care.
or anything like that.
I don't have the
personally.
money for Arcana.
Yeah, downvotes, not interested in cosmetics
Downvote.
personally.
I'm giving this one an upvote because I know it's a meme and it is pretty fucking funny. Like this exact post.
I mean, it's not a meme. You're just looking for attention. Like, okay, something funny happened, but you're looking for attention. Why? Like, this is fun to share in your Discord group with, like, 13 people in there that are all like, around the same age, right? Like, then you post, like, a funny Void voice line that goes with it, and then you're done. That's fucking almost 2,000 upvotes here. Downvote. Bye.
So, ever seen a 100k lead in a pro Dota match before? So, I believe this was a DPC match where 100k was the net worth lead. Was it for Ivy over Brame?
Yeah, Ivy over Brame.
And I personally didn't see this game, but I actually am planning to maybe go and watch it just because it's such a ridiculous number. So for me, this is 100% an upvote just for the entertainment factor. If you saw it, then you can relate, and if you didn't, then. But I guess my question about this one is like, what are they doing? Why aren't they ending this game? You know, there's like millions of dollars on the line, and I know they're probably not going to lose with that kind of a lead. Are they just having fun here? Like they've got 2 cheeses from this screenshot. They've got.
Can you
like, the
seriously
position
consider Brame playing for $100 million? Like they're Division 2, right?
I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah, they are. Okay, isn't that like the old Ad Finum squad with a few changes?
Yes, it is.
Right, but I guess my question is like the mentality behind these guys of like playing like this.
Like not really the mentality. The most interesting thing about this game, I was able to catch it for the last 20 minutes. But they were playing again, like Ivy was playing against Mega Creeps from 38 minutes. And they were able to drag it till 65 minutes when they won the game with above 100k lead. I think in the end it was like 114.
Yeah, I didn't even notice they were playing against Mega Creeps. I was like, yeah, but you're TB. You don't even have 30k net worth 65 minutes into the game, right? But why do you put yourself through this torture? But I didn't even notice they were playing against Mega.
Yeah.
That's actually like the comeback from Mega Creeps.
Yeah.
That's actually sick.
Yeah. It was a 65-minute, 10-second long game, and they played against Mega Creeps since, like, I don't know, 38 minutes.
So
how do you still have 30k net
How-
worth as a TP though?
and how do you get a 100k lead if you're against Mega Creeps? Because like
They at the point when Brame got the Mega Creeps, the net worth was slightly below 1k for Brame.
right. So I guess my question is like, do they have all of map control and then still fighting against Mega Creeps?
Basically what happened was they were able to defend like the final push, you know, like just void stuff and vibrant stuff. And then they just went from there, you know. They were able to like Brame went for Roshan like immediately after around 43, 44 minutes. They were able to kill, or like Ivy was able to win that fight. They got the rush, and then they just started taking over the map. And because of the fact they had Necro, Beastmaster, Mirana, you know, Void with Maelstrom, and Wyvern, they were just able to hold the Mega Creeps down.
But Brame actually ended up losing that series. I don't like.
Yeah.
Pretty funny.
I mean, it's kind of like, you know, they won the game one, then they lost this game too. Like it for sure it had some psychological effect. You know, like
when you lose
Mega
with
Creeps,
Mega Creeps, yeah.
But you lose with Mega Creeps from 38 minutes, and then the game drags to 65, which is basically almost twice as long. It's plus 30 minutes, and you lose that. Like that has to leave like such a high psychological effect. I feel like.
Yeah. I think another point as well, like, is after a certain point, the heroes would be like I'm assuming everyone was fully slotted in this game, and at least on the side of Ivy.
I mean,
Like even if 30k net worth on a Wyvern is pretty much slotted anyways, right? Like sure there might be one or two items, but like anything you get, you're gonna kind of be peaking, if that makes sense, of your hero's strength. Like there's a certain point where your hero just doesn't get any stronger.
Yeah.
So the extra gold that they get doesn't really make a difference, I suppose. But yeah, interesting. I might have to go back and watch this. Maybe I'll watch the highlights of this instead of the whole match.
I mean, yeah, we just spoiled everything. I was about to rewatch it.
Yeah. Yeah, where's the spoiler alert?
Yeah, spoiler alert.
If you want,
can we edit that in?
So, but still, like nonetheless, even though it's a Division 2, it was a hell of a game. Like I seriously recommend to watch that. Fun fact: this wasn't the biggest lead in history. The biggest lead in history is actually a game of Elephant versus eHome in China Dota 2 Pro Cup Season 2, and Elephant had a lead of 154k.
154k? How is that even possible?
I have no idea. But it's the largest so far.
And did they win?
They did, yes.
Okay.
And how long did that game go on for? 2 hours?
Yeah, 80 minutes. 80 minutes and 5 seconds.
That's crazy.
So hour and 20 minutes.
Oh yeah, so for me this one is an upvote. I think it's entertaining, and yeah, we'll either be fun to go back and watch, or it doesn't happen so often. So yeah, I think it's interesting.
I mean, I think Brain getting clapped is interesting, so upvote.
Yeah, for me as well, because that game was truly insane, and I think even though it was Division 2, it for sure deserves attention. For sure. Okay, the next Reddit post.
The next one is actually funny because I'm curious.
Yeah. Do you want to introduce it?
I mean, if someone walks into your room while you're playing Dota, what have you said in your mic that makes that person question what you're doing? Well, me personally, plenty. Like I don't know. Like a lot comes to mind, especially lifesteal related. I guess I don't know,
Wait, what was
but
your catchphrase? The
mine,
Synergy you said his new catchphrase was?
no shot.
No, no, no. Damn, I forgot.
Amaze
It's
balls.
not a very good
Baseballs,
oh,
baseballs.
baseballs. So that's what you've just said when someone walks in and they're
No,
like,
no, but that's not even questionable. Like that's usually me, but like I don't know, like with synergy or whatever, whoever, it doesn't even matter who it is. Like with Lyster, it feels good to be inside of you. Well, if you walk into somebody's room and he says that while you're playing a video game, you're like, what?
yeah,
What just
that's true.
happened?
or
I like hooking you or whatever.
like the,
You-
the
you-
the patch with Mars is very similar. The continuity.
yeah, the part Mars punch combo is actually stupid. Doesn't work. Don't try this at home.
Parent advised, you know.
Mars going Ags and then Pudge Shard does not work.
It was pretty fun though.
Yeah, but
For
also
for
weird
for
stuff was
one
being
game.
said.
Yes, yes, yes. But whatever.
What's the worst thing you guys have ever said?
The worst thing. I don't know. I didn't really said that many worst things, but I clearly remember one thing that I've did, and that I've did a lot in the past, and after that my parents and my sister got used to the to that specific line. But the first time I did that was when I first reached 4K MMR, and that was on my other account which one I created, and then I played on my main where I was poor Archon with 2K MMR, right? And whenever I clapped someone, you know, like just straight up outplayed him, I was always like, haha, 4K MMR, bitch! They just, you know, like my sister and my parents, they just opened the door, you know, to my room. They looked at me and they were like, what did you say?
When
I
you
was
were sitting there in your tidy whities, right? Like playing 4K Dota.
yeah, it's like 4K MMR, bitch. You know, that was the line that I was using a lot. But anything like that like let's say naughty or something like that, I don't think I've ever used something like that. I was always just like cursing on heroes, you know, like this bitch is acting like a goat or something like that, you know. So
And that doesn't sound very
yeah, that's not
overwhelming or
yeah,
very
yeah, yeah,
interesting.
yeah.
Being
I
a
think
good boy.
the one that I've heard and always think is funny, I said a few times is always lion, just like finger of death. I think it's kind of a weird one, you know, like finger her or like finger him or something like this, you know, like because it's like, you
And
know, it's the name of
your
the spell.
girlfriend in the living room. Oh, what did he just say? He's fingering somebody else.
Comes running in, you know, I'm here.
I'm here.
No, no, it's not for you, babe. It's not for you. Sorry.
We can do
He's
that later.
disappointed. Yeah, exactly. Um, anyways,
I also like that when you don't know like the people and other people are saying that like what was the other day, not the other day, what happened when somebody's healing and then they're like, oh, you like that big boy heal, don't you?
yeah, I think the other one that I end up saying as well as a lot as the support is like, oh, we've got no vision, or I can't see anything, I've got no vision, and like it's in a fully lit room, so my partner will think like, what the hell is he on about? Like the lights are on. Kind of a
I can't
weird
see
one, but
anything on my screen, babe.
yeah, exactly.
Alright, anybody else? Any funny things to this topic?
No, I think that's it for me.
Yeah. I
Okay.
mean, I thought it would be more funnier, but kind of like, your standard things. Apparently, we're not that
Yeah.
original.
Yeah, we are not that, at least I'm not that funny, you know. You guys
I
are?
can't think of anything good right now, but like I'm sure
It's
there's a
also
few other
it's
ones.
yeah, it's always when you get put on the spot that you can't think of them, but they're always there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I read one in the comments that I thought was funny, like disassemble your mom and build a butterfly. That one was one of the comments in there, so I thought it was really funny. Or like, let's smoke and go
Oh,
roach.
here's also someone saying, "Girlfriend always hates me when I say finger him."
Yeah, it's like mine,
And
eh?
him. Yeah, exactly. Let's go fuck these kids' bottom. That's very wrong.
Yeah.
We gotta go smoke into the jungle. Okay, that's not funny at all.
No, I'll give this an upvote overall, though. I think
Hey,
it was
yeah,
entertaining.
yeah, the upvote. Oh, it only got 85 upvotes. I'll give 86.
Have my
Yeah,
karma.
I will give that an upvote as well. I think we can just go to like the next topic, which is like DPC and roster changes, which is what I wanted to
We
cover
were talking
anyway.
about DPC.
Yeah,
I'm
exactly.
talking about Alliance, about
So,
Relul.
so the Alliance, they made a change. They basically kicked their entire roster, right?
But Nico, baby.
But Nico, baby, exactly. And they added Weeha, the Stomahech one, I don't know how to pronounce it, Aramis and Symmetrical. Personally, I only know, not personally, like, I only know Nico, Weeha, and Aramis. I never heard
The past
of the
5, the
others.
Bulgarian player used to
Yes.
be on Brame as well, right?
Yes, he played for Brain, indeed, yes.
I mean, they made it into Division 1, right?
Yeah.
For some reason. I don't even know how.
For some reason. Like,
Oh, yeah, well, if you look at Division 2,
Enigma.
yeah, well, Enigma now, yeah, I like that. I like that a lot.
That's crazy.
Yeah, we're gonna
Enigma
talk
in
about
Division
Enigma.
2?
But yeah,
Why
I
is
mean,
that crazy? Isn't that like exactly what they deserve? I think they should disband like 5 years ago.
I
Well, they
mean,
Like
won
right after
TI less than
TI,
5 years ago.
well, exactly right after TI, bam, bye. Like we've had our moment. We're good. We're Gucci. Bye.
But if
Like
OG did that, they wouldn't have won the second time.
that's true, but OG is not Liquid, or well at the time Liquid Enigma. I seriously, I was baffled that Liquid or Enigma won TI. That should, in my opinion, never have happened. But
They
that's
were
my
good
opinion.
for a while, though. They were a pretty strong team for a long time. Yeah, I don't know. They haven't done shit since they became Nigma, and it feels like they did the whole like. So I kind of like. I don't know if why they branded off, but I'm assuming it had something to do with money. I have no idea, but I'm assuming that they were probably paying out like they thought they could win more, and like
yeah,
Liquid as an organization was like taking a bigger cut of the money than they were probably comfortable with. I'm guessing. Of course, I don't know this for sure.
yeah.
But after they did that, they've been not great. I think like what's the one thing that is missing from when they were good? It's Matumba Man. So that was the missing piece. But if you look at them and you break that roster down piece by piece, so you look at okay, like Kuroki, yeah, he's getting older now, but he is one of the better Dota minds. He's played on a lot of big teams and in a lot of big games. I still have a lot of respect for him, regardless of kind of where they are now. You got Miracle, who has been considered one of the best players at one point or another. I'm not sure like if that's still the case now. GH, same thing for position 4. He's always been considered in that. Now, let's forget Simal for now because he's new to the team. ILTW, I think, is not very good. I don't think he ever wins. I think he's like plays too static. He's like basically like a watered down Arteezy. You know what I mean? Like he's okay in the lane, but like he does it all. Like he's just not good. He can't close out games. He doesn't really carry like the rest of players do. I don't think he like makes the right calls when the carry players are supposed to make the calls. Again, this is just from watching them play. And who am I forgetting?
MC and
Mind
GH.
control.
Mind control. Well, GH I think is like I said. I think he's really strong. Position 4. He's like I don't know how he probably wasn't as good last year, but like that was probably for them gelling. Mind control, I don't really have a strong opinion on. I think he's just solid, but I don't think he's been outstanding
I
ever.
mean,
Like,
there's also arguably something to say that apparently they like TI 8 they were fourth, and TI 9 they made the finals with we lul.
mhm.
I mean, there's something to say about that, right? But I would consider that more of a fluke than OG winning TI.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, let's go back to what we started with Alliance. Upvote or downvote?
Alliance always downvote. I mean, their roster are now downvote. Liquid Nigma downvote.
I mean, we haven't talked about
OG upvote.
we haven't talked about the new addition to Enigma, Sumail.
Downvote.
So yeah, for Alliance, I don't think that they're going to do too much in Div 1. I think they'll be lucky to stay up, if anything, but I don't think they're going to be going to the major. I think it's way too competitive. And I wouldn't be surprised if they found themselves back in Division 2. And I actually don't really know how they're going so far, but what's the standings right now? Yeah, they're 0-2.
0-2.
Yeah, so I'd say they're probably going down. I kind of am cheering for Secret to go down as well, just because I think it would be funny to have like Enigma versus Secret in Div 2 final.
Why? Why Secret? Why Secret all of a sudden? I'm actually
just for the laughs, because they're like it's such a team. They almost went
but
down.
why not? Why would they not say like Goon Squad or Entity or Tundra?
Entity's playing well. Tundra's really good, actually. I think Tundra's one of the best new teams in the last few years, and they're quite young. Like they're just still finding themselves as well. So I'm not a fan of Entity really. I don't like Pure.
I don't like Pure at all. I think nobody does.
The Pure incident is something that has been covered a lot, but yeah. They are doing so far pretty well in terms of games.
They're actually 2-1. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, and Tundra's 3-0.
Secret is 1-2. I thought with like them getting Chrysalis, they would do better.
Yeah.
I think, and Goon Squad is like, I don't know, man. I think they'll be all right. Like it's hard to say. They're 1-2 as well. It's going to be really tight, and I don't think Gaming Gladiators is as good as they were last year. So I think we're kind of like digressing into a different conversation about their predictions, which maybe might be a fun thing to do. But like I think like Tundra and OG are probably like for me the top two teams, and probably Team Liquid is in there as well. Just like for consistency, and then that third place spot is like Gaming Gladiators, probably Team Secret might be in the mix. Entity apparently, I don't think they'll keep that up though. I think they'll fall off.
Yeah.
Towards the end.
Well, anyway, let's move to other transfers that happened after the major. One of the worth mentioning ones was Jerax out of EG, fly back in.
Be expected, right?
Kind of. The other one was a bit before was that Fada was kicked out of Tundra. They added Saxa instead, and after the major, Fada went to form a team with.
Didn't he join like Quincy Crew or something like that?
Yes, with previous members of Quincy Crew coming back as well, which makes the lineup Yawar, CCNC or Quinn, then MSS, and then it was who?
Not Casual, right?
Lesnao for offlane.
Oh, Leslao, yeah.
Yeah, and then Farah as 5. For now, they are doing pretty well. They are 2-0 in the NADPC.
NADPC is a thing.
Yeah. The next transfer, which we've already covered a little bit, was the Sumail into Enigma, which was kind of to be expected. Pure being kicked for certain reasons from Virtus Pro or outsiders for that matter, and then joining Entity. And were there any other interesting transfers?
Yes,
the Crystallis to Secret.
Bait ceasing to stopping to exist. I like that a lot.
Yeah, and
then they finally realizing he's garbage. How did I write it to you actually?
Yes, you did. Bait yesterday.
No, but how?
I don't know. We will have to check. Bait yesterday announced that they disband the entire roster and that they are looking to rebuild the roster But they didn't said.
I did not watch the YouTube post.
I did watch the video. They are looking to rebuild the entire roster from a scratch, but they didn't said whether or like then they didn't announce whether he will be, because he made the video or like was talking in the video. He didn't announce whether he will be participating in the team at all, whether as a coach or as a player. The other transfer that was kinda hyped within CIS region was instead of Pure, Virtus Pro added back Ramses as a core 1 position.
Meh.
Kind of washed up, right? Like it looks for past couple of years. I'm not even worried to say he's been looking washed up.
Yeah, I think Ramses has had a lot of trouble, and I think there's like I think maybe like what I'm feeling is that there's been a decent amount of older players that are maybe starting to phase out of Dota now, and there's maybe a newer generation coming in. I think that's been happening for a little while, but now it's like starting to happen a little bit quicker. There's like a new roster at OG, obviously, a lot of younger players that have come from some Div 2 teams and some pub stars. There's Tundra that's coming to their own over the last year or so, and now a lot of the older players aren't being able to settle and find success like they were. And I think that maybe there's some new ideas around Dota that we're going to see some changes in the next months, or specifically after TI as well. If teams aren't performing that are considered perennial powerhouses, like the Secrets and the Enigmas, etc., that are always kind of in the mix for TI.
And some players have to realize indeed that they're not the new kids on the block anymore, that they're not at the very, very top anymore. I think that's happening with maybe Secret, maybe Nigma for sure.
Yeah, and OG, like I hate to bring it back to them about how they run the organization, but like, how good is it that they bring in fresh blood and they still retain that kind of old blood?
Status.
Yeah, exactly. So that experience is still there in the coaching sense, or the managing the company, with No Tail Seb and even some of the guys that are running their business.
Yeah, exactly.
Sorry, fanboy. No Tail, if you ever hear this, I love you. Yeah, that's the weirdest thing I've ever said playing Dota.
All right. Well, I will just quickly summarize the DPC standings for now. Obviously, some games are being played just now on 21st June, but just to overall for Western EU, Tundra is leading 3-0, followed by Entity 2-1 and OG 2-1, and on the bottom we have 1-2 Secret and 0-2 Alliance.
OG in the house! Sorry.
What do you mean, fanboy?
For the Eastern Europe, the Navi changed from Aloha Dance to Sweden Strong. Actually is making a point because they are leading the DPC with 2-1, followed by one move with also 2-1, and then 0-3 Mind Games and 0-3 Pari Parni, which is the CIS rejects. On the SEA, we have Talon, actually, with 3-0, followed by Fnatic 2-0. And on the bottom, actually, 1-1 RSG, 1-1 T1, which is surprising a little bit, 1-1 Team SMG, and 0-3 Polaris. For the China DPC, we have very close DPC there for now. RNG 2-1, Aster 2-1, Witchy Gaming 2-1, Extreme Gaming 2-1, and then 1-2 Aster, 1-2 Dandelion Esports, 1-2 eHome, and 1-2 PSG LGD on the bottom, actually. And for the NA, we have EG, not really surprised there, 2-1, 2-0 Nouns, 2-0 Quincy, 2-1 TSM, and on the bottom is 5 red for Forest Staff, 0-3, and Feld with 0 and 2. And then the last region, which is South America, we have Beast Coast with 2-1, 2-0 Infamous, and 2-1 Thunder Awaken. And on the bottom, 1-1 Wolf Team and 0-2 Team Hokori. That are the standings as of today. Alright, so I think we can close this segment and we can go to the other one. We can make it quick. The new update has been released, the 7.31D. We've seen a couple of changes. Some were expected, some were expected to be a lot harder than they actually were, specifically for Coddle and CK. Some changes that seems to be doing okay and pushing that hero in. For example, like Clockwork, the double damage to creeps actually pushed the Clockwork in the DPC as well. And other than that, some little bit nerfed Wraithpact in terms of model and attacks required, buff to Ethereal Shroud. And probably the main nerf of this entire patch was the salve duration, and healing was basically reduced to by divided by 2 if you use it on an ally. Obviously the duration, but the healing comes with it. So therefore the salves for supports are no longer a thing for the laning stage. Most of the pro players are replacing it with simply headdress. And the other thing that's probably worth mentioning is that Marcy was added to Captain's Mode, which we've seen actually a lot during the start of the DPC. Any other things you guys think are worth mentioning?
I seriously, when I saw the self change, I was like, all right, pretty dope. You only you get 400 healing in half the duration, and not realizing obviously that you get half the healing. I was like, that's pretty good. Why are people complaining about this?
And the cost decreased as well.
Yeah,
Omega buff.
yeah. I was like, cost decreased. That's pretty fucking good. Why are people complaining? And then you're like, ah, yikes. No,
Yeah,
it's pretty you cannot do that.
I think we're all support players, so we're fine with this change.
Yeah.
I think it's really interesting, the knock-on effect. So I think it's easy to look at a patch and to say, okay, this person's been buffed or nerfed, so they're automatically better or worse. But I think interesting thing is if you think about the residual effects. So what does this hero do, or what does this item do? And if it's not as good, what does that mean for everything else? So I've been a big fan of the healing heroes lately, especially I'll speak mostly from a support perspective, but I think this has made your Winter Wyvern, Warlock and Dazzle a lot stronger, just being able to have heals in the lane. And as well, yeah, I agree with the headdress, that piece as well.
Mm-hmm. The other thing I forgot to mention was obviously also one of the most discussed nerfed about this patch was the BKB change from 75 to 90-second cooldown.
Yep.
But
why are you disgusted by that exactly?
No, I'm not disgusted. It's just it was the most disgusted,
Oh,
disgust.
Disgust. Yeah, disgust thing about this patch.
What do you think about that? I don't.
I mean, it basically went to what it was before. Before the cooldown was 80 and 85 seconds. So right now they added 5 seconds on top of that. I think that's fine.
And people are not buying it anyway.
Yeah, they are not. But we've seen our troll. So
Immortal kick.
Yeah. Of course, the other buff, or the other most discussed thing was the buff on the flesh heap for Patch, which makes him really, really tanky.
I mean, Power Patch still garbage tier hero, but I like the buff.
People have been playing it on carry actually. Not a lot in DPC, but
yeah, but then,
I think
who are playing it? Matamba Man because he's just styling on people.
Matumba, I think Crystallis played it. I think Sumail did in one game, if I'm not correct. I apologize. I know he was
Sumail's
playing.
mid for Nigma, right?
Yeah. But I know he's been played on carry in China in one game. I can't remember which one, but I know he was played.
Okay.
So yeah. But other than that, it was like pretty kind of quiet patch. I think not like some super important game breaking stuff changes. Like obviously patch for the pups is kind of broken, but there are stuff how to deal with it. So
Just going back to BKB, I think we kind of glazed over that one. So I think I really like this change. I think any changes to the actual like Magic community would have been like just, I don't know, too much maybe. Like I think the time of it is probably okay. It's probably fine. Maybe you could peel off 1 second at the beginning, but then it's like quite expensive already for what you get. Yeah, I think it's fine. I think the cooldown is enough to discourage like every core from buying it, so it's like more of a like popular item, but not
But
like
why would you want to discourage cores to buy it? Like it's already a very expensive investment that gives you stat wise nothing,
I think
damage wise nothing.
the reason I would want to discourage cores to buy it personally is because I think we've talked about this before, is that Dota is a game of decision making and variety and thinking on the fly and adjustments. And when every single core is building boots into BKB, I think it's boring personally. So I get that it's
sure, like changing the item, yeah, sure. If you look at it that, but
yeah.
I think we can all agree that in our pubs, people are not going boots BKB.
No, I'm talking about like a higher level, like potentially like a DPC level as well. Because I think a lot of the balance changes come around higher level, right? You cannot like I think it's both for sure. Like I think they keep both in mind, but like Pudge is the most picked hero at all the lower ranks by a long shot, and as you can see, they're not buffing him too much. But in the DPC, it would literally be 3 BKBs versus 3 BKBs, many matches, and whoever got them first would often win. Like Razor's build was like boots into BKB into refresher, because that's how good it was, just to get 2 BKBs off.
I mean, yeah. So let's move to the last topic of the podcast, which is our Mr. Liberty's idea, which is a pretty good one. Hero or item spotlight. For this episode, I've chosen Meepo.
Didn't we already pick
I
AM?
chose.
No, we didn't pick the AM, and it was like a additional concept.
Wait, I thought I was
additional content.
Alright, additional content, yes. Oh, you wanna choose? Sure, go ahead. Choose something.
No, it's fine. We can do Meepo. We do the other ones next time.
All right. So you're gonna be choosing for the next episode. So for me, Meepo.
Because you got clapped by it the other day.
Yes,
like
I did because of a certain reason that we're gonna talk about in another podcast, or like in another episode, because we didn't get to it this time. But yeah, Meepo. I will start. So he didn't got any changes in this last patch. Overall, the hero, after the change of the ultimate, moving the ultimate being able to be skilled from level 3 to level 4, already made him hardly playable and a lot more cheese big hero, which was proven on multiple occasions even in pro scene. And afterwards, it only became a Smurf type of hero. And lately hasn't been touched much, not just by patch, but by players themselves. Not even me, who like to play Meepo. So
yeah, but you suck at Meepo.
I don't. You saw my Meepo. You saw my Meepo. We won that game. I played Meepo
What
once.
game? You think I remember every game?
I do.
And I don't.
Yeah, well, yeah, so as of me, what I personally think would help the hero to come back, I'm not necessarily sure they should change the ultimate back, because I know that Valve doesn't like to, let's say, admit they're wrong, so they are never gonna change the ultimate back from level 4 to level 3, which would bring the hero back, I'm pretty sure. But I think that probably slowing the game down would help him a lot because since I don't know 7.2, maybe even earlier, we have games that are basically decided within laning stage. Like one lane just gets stomped and then you lose. It doesn't matter if it's mid or if it's safe lane, if it's off lane. Because the one hero, if the player is good enough, he will just snowball and win the game. What I think is that this would help. How to achieve it would be for sure removing the outposts, because the outposts have been here for almost, or not almost, they have been here for 2 years. It's way too long. I didn't like the outposts when they were introduced at all, and it's only buffing up the game in terms of early game, because heroes are getting levels faster, therefore farming faster, quote unquote, and stuff like that. So, for example, that would be like in indirect type of buff. I think pushing him onwards would be probably something that happened lately, which was buffing the Dragonlance. I've seen Meepo, like in my past 100 games, I saw him 2 times. Always when Dragonlance, which was the core item when it was introduced, the Dragonlance itself for the Meepo. So I think that would bring the hero back overall.
I mean, I would not mind Meepo not coming back. Such a niche pick. If you don't have a way to deal with it, you gotta get fucked. Like usually, like you said, the Smurf-esque kind of people play the hero.
Yeah, like I think it like favors robotic play where you can do multiple things at the same time, which is impossible for a human. I don't think the hero's fun. I think it either griefs or just dumps the game. I'm not a huge fan of the hero at all. I don't really like the philosophy behind it either.
The only time when I actually enjoy Meepo is when somebody that's really good on it plays it, like Abed or Nisha or whatever. At that point, I really enjoy the hero. Other than that, I can't really care about it. I tried it. In my opinion, I don't suck at it, but people just go overboard. Like as soon as they see Meepo and you don't last pick it, people are like, "Hey, we need to pick everything: Shaker, Wyvern, Lich." I don't know. Like, who cares? Like, pick everything. Throw the kitchen sink at Meepo. You're not able to play the game. So I don't know. I don't have much with the hero or against it. Like, so I'll say like every time like normal players don't usually go for Meepos, and it's not really that much fun to play. It's usually somebody that's way higher ranked than the bracket they're actually playing in. I don't know. I'm not sure.
Yeah, from what I think is like the thing that I miss right now is right like Meepo has always kind of been a niche type of hero, like we've mentioned, right? But for me, the thing is right now, it's not even that. Like the hero is just straight up dead. It's only been used on like fucking Herald, where like some fucking random ass 7K player plays it, and this is literally destroying everyone just based off the fact that that like his skill is way higher. It's not even about the hero, it's just literally that his skill is higher, that he can abuse the understanding of the game and the Meepo allows it. But for me, the sad part is that, like, I'm just gonna queue up into the game and, the draft is fine from both sides, it looks kinda even. Then my mid gets picked and enemy picks Meepo. And then you are kinda like, oh shit, I almost forget about this hero, like I didn't count it with in the draft. And then you have a pretty interesting game, because if you cannot deal with it, yeah, you get fucked. If you can deal with it, then it is good, right? And for me, it is interesting because it requires a lot of skill, a lot of knowledge on how to play against that hero. It literally, like all of these type of niche heroes, like Brute Mother, specifically, Tinker, it just requires you to think. And for me lately, it's been like really hard to get to the point of like, yeah, I'm playing against fucking Tinker again. I have to think about the stupid defensive matrix that he can just rearm and blink no matter what you throw at him. you know. So it requires you to kind of like think, and for me, the thing that I'm really missing is this feeling, you know, like the fact that there is not just the thinker, not just the brute, that there is like also a Meepo, and that's something that I've been missing a lot lately. I feel like, so that's why I really like it, you know, because even back when Meepo was viable, it wasn't like, yeah, the Meepo is gonna be picked, you know, because it's such a overpowered hero. It was always, but it was just like there, you know. Right now, when enemy picks Meepo, you're like, what the hell, is this hero still even in the game? You know. Then you get destroyed because he's a Smurf. But yeah, like, you know, that's what I'm kind of been missing.
Well, I hope you have many interesting Meepo games in the future.
I hope so too. I really do hope that that he's gonna see some either change or like indirect buff or even like a normal buff. Like, I would be down if Valve would admit the fact that moving the clone from level 3 to level 4 is a bit too much, which it kind of was, because I think on
But would
level
that change bring him back though? Like if like right now you change only that perspective about Meepo, would that bring the hero back? I
I don't
don't
think I've
think so,
ever
to be
played
honest.
Meepo once.
like
So.
it wouldn't bring him back to the point where, yeah, you just pick Meepo like a last pick every single time, because that's never gonna happen. Like, literally, that's never gonna happen. No matter what you do to him, like, yeah, it will happen if you would, like, I don't know, give him clone on level 2. Probably. You know, that could happen, right? But like, it's not gonna bring him back in a way that, like, yeah, you're just gonna see him in like 20% of your games. But it's just gonna be there, and he's gonna be picked more. You're gonna be playing more against it, and stuff like that. It's just that it will bring him back to the point. Yeah, that hero is there. You know, like, as position 5, I need to think about it. Okay, I know the best hero for me that I know to play against Meepo is Wyvern, right? Is Wyvern like a valuable pick? Can I pick it as a support 5? Yeah, I can. All right. Well, then I'm gonna pick it. If the Meepo is good, he will pick it anyway. I've played a lot of games, Wyvern versus Meepo, and those games are really fucking interesting if the Meepo is good. Like, I'm not even kidding. The longest game I've played was 1 hour and 34 minutes as a Wyvern versus Meepo, and I lost that game. I felt, you have no idea how horrible I actually felt after that loss. I felt literally horrible because I had arguably the best hero versus Meepo, and I still lost after 1 hour and 31 minutes. Like, that was literally the most horrible feeling that I've had in Dota overall. And I think it would be nice if it would be back.
You miss playing against Meepo.
Yeah.
Okay. That's the
Or
first time ever.
missed playing against, but also missed playing it. You know, because like right now when I play, for example, the carry, because I really enjoyed playing Meepo on the carry. I didn't really like it on the mid. I played it on mid, but like, I played it also on the carry a lot more. And like, just the fact that, like, it's not even there, you know, that, like, that kind of bothers me. You know, like, whenever I play carry and I get the chance to have a last pick, it's like, yeah, like, Meepo looks pretty good in this game, right? But then it's like, yeah, but isn't like PL, Luna, even a Slark, you know, and even the Anti-Mage, isn't it like better? Yeah, it is. So like, the Meepo is just going to the backlines, and it's like, yeah, it's kind of like this backline feeling. This, like, yeah, it's missing something, you know.
All right. I mean, yeah. Well, okay. Yeah. Well, I get what you're saying, but I don't share. I don't know. It's not a mutual feeling.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, not everybody likes the Meepo. I think we can probably all agree that, like, if there is a hero that is being or like top 3 heroes that are like hated, are probably like one of the top ones is for sure Meepo.
Meepo, Tinker, Ricky, Kex?
Tinker, and a lot of people would say Ricky.
I mean, one thing that I'll say is sniper headshot with take aim. Oh, I hate that so much.
Yeah.
100% accuracy plus bonus range on for 3 or 4 seconds. Like, fuck off. Like, headshot is so stupid.
Yeah.
It's just stun. Seriously, 100% guaranteed stun. You cannot move, you cannot react, you cannot, I don't know, like, it fucking pisses me off.
So, as the Meepo says, this pack ain't so heavy no more. So, if you encounter a Meepo in your games, it's probably a Smurf or a retard. Alright, so that would conclude the first episode of the podcast. So, again, I would like to thank you guys for joining me, Mr. Tiger and Mr. Liberty. It was a pleasure. I really enjoyed it. And do you have any final words, guys?
Yeah, I have one thing to say. Let's go play some Dotes.
Play some Dota?
Yeah, no, it was really fun. Thanks for having us and or doing this. And yeah, I look forward to hearing it back. It'll be really awkward and cringe at first, but it always is when you hear your own voice. So and hopefully, if like we share this with some people, I don't know if that's the plan with the first episode or what the story is. I guess you edited it first, but hopefully people get some entertainment from it. Learn something maybe from other guys.
Leave your thoughts and ideas in the comments.
Yeah, exactly. No, 100%.
I mean,
And
yeah.
if anyone has any ideas for like what we should do on future episodes, we're open to suggestions for sure.
How we can make more fun out of Mr. Synergy.
So again, thank you guys for watching. Leave a like, comment, subscribe, and, and we will see you in the next
Sorry, I thought we needed some outro music. My computer is being a weirdo. Probably because I have fucking Microsoft Word document open. I'm not even kidding. As soon as I opened it, my computer's never crashed once. Like it's not that old, so like I haven't gotten to the point where it's all clunky and shit, and now it won't open. Now it's frozen.
Sorry.
I blame me. We can talk about that in the podcast. It's the Word document. It's not responding. Like it's such an asshole.
Well, I can do a blooper segment, you know, on the end of each podcast.
And are you recording already or what?
Yeah. I started recording like I don't know after you finish the talk about the crease, because like I just don't want to like start off the recording and go from there. I will just cut out the start.
Yeah, that's fine. That's no worries at all. For some reason, I cannot copy and paste from your stupid Word document, so I'll just share and you can copy and paste it over. I will just.
Yeah, if I were you, I'd close that Word doc ASAP.
Yeah, it's infecting my computer as we speak.
The only reason why I made notes for Synergy was because I could open it at work. Where I actually have Word license, you know.
Oh, I can open it on my work computer.
I mean, to be fair, for a very long time, I was using OpenOffice instead of Microsoft's Office.
Yeah, it's much better.
In my company, we still live in 2005.
Yeah, so you have Microsoft Word 1995 or what?
Yeah, like maybe still use Outlook. I don't know, like 2008 or something like that.